Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. This is Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, and we are back for Season 1, Episode 8 of Thrones, titled The Pointy End. I am joined today by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. It's a goodie today. Season 1, Episode 8. We're nearing the end of the season. This one was actually straight up written by George R.R. Martin, which might be part of the reason why it was so filled with quotes we loved.
I see. This makes sense now.
Yeah, written by George R.R. Martin, directed by Daniel Minahan. 'Twas a goodie. 'Twas a goodie. How you feeling? How you feeling coming off of this one?
Oh, this, I guess for like the first season, I'm waiting to get to like episode 9 because of just what happens at the end of episode 9, just knowing that's coming. So like this episode, I'm like, okay, it's just another stepping stone to get there. I'm not really coming into the episode thinking like, oh, it's going to be anything huge. I don't really remember anything big that happened in it before.
Pretty massive stepping stone, actually.
Yeah. And then now after I watched it, I was like, okay, this is actually like a far better episode than I remember. This is one of the more political things are just fucking going crazy everywhere. It's going just insane. And so many different storylines.
War is afoot.
It is war.
War is
crazy
afoot.
Because like every time before in the show, whenever like Ned talked to Cersei and was like, yeah, I know that Joffrey is you and Jaime, it's you and Jaime, blah, blah, like just like an idiot, I'm like, oh, well, he just started the war. And then I'm like, later on in the show, and I'm like, well, okay, well, maybe this started the war, actually. And then I'm like, later on, and then like things in this episode, and I'm like, oh no, this definitely started the war here. But it's like, it already started back whenever Robert died. Like that's
was
what
brewing, man.
War.
Like it's been a long time. You could argue that Jaime pushing Bran out of a tower was war.
Or killing Jon Arryn.
We might have started the show
that's true.
in war. It's basically all war. It's just been fought in a different way here in the first season so far. But man, yeah. This is a goodie. This was originally released on June 5th, 2011. So a little bit over 10 years ago.
That's crazy. I was 11 years old.
11. Yeah, I was too.
Like, that is nuts to think.
Yeah, I certainly was not watching this on June 5th, 2011.
No way. Yeah, like, that's crazy to think that, like, season 5 or 6 is when I jumped in, and that would have been, like, 2016,
15, 14.
Yeah, even. So I was actually kind of young-ish, I guess, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because season 7 was 2017.
Yeah.
And there was a 2-year gap between 7 and 8.
Yeah, wow, that's great, man. It's just going. That's actually kind of crazy. It's been going on for a lot longer than I thought. Just now, like 2011 sounds crazy.
No, what's crazy is us pointing this out kind of like ripped a memory out from me. I think I said I didn't watch this June 5th, 2011. I think I might have been there while it was on somewhere.
Like
maybe not this episode
or something, or
but an old one. I was staying over at my grandparents' house for like just staying the night there for my parents were busy. They needed a babysitter. I stayed at my grandparents. My grandparents have watched this show from the moment it started till the moment it finished. And
wow,
I think cool. I remember meeting Daenerys Targaryen for the first time when I was very, very young. and being like, remember looking at the screen, being like,
whoa.
ooh, pretty lady. Then other things happened, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna leave the room.
This would be a very different show as a kid, that's for sure. You would have no idea what's going on.
When Jason Momoa is like, and he's like ripping the knives out, and he's doing the gibberish, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that is fair. I'm glad I didn't jump into it young, actually. No, it wouldn't
There's
have been
probably
good.
a reason I can't remember that vividly. Probably blocked it out a little bit. But are you ready for something of a scene-by-scene breakdown going location to location?
Oh, yeah. Where are we starting?
We're starting at the wall, baby.
Let's go. Good
John and
storyline.
Sam. Yeah, John and Sam returning to Castle Black with their party, and now a couple dead bodies. Couple of corpses in tow. They're Benjen Stark's ranging party.
No Benjen, though.
No Benjen. Still no Benjen. I had trouble remembering. I know we've been talking as though the next time we see Benjen is in season 7. Does Bran run into him when he's north of the wall? Is that ringing a bell at all for you?
Benjen to Bran? Is Benjen? No, because he comes in swinging the mace to save Jon, right?
Yeah,
that's to save Jon. Okay, because that's the one I remember. I know for sure was him just coming in on the horse, just out of nowhere. Like
he does a really badass Deus Ex Machina there. But I feel like there might be a scene where he and Bran interact briefly while Bran is north of the wall.
It says in season 2. During the Great Ranging Beyond the Wall, Mormont and his men stop at Craster's Keep. Benjen hasn't been there for 3 years, is what they say. So they mention him in season 2, and then it says in season 5 he comes up again.
When Jon dies.
I see. Yes, however, it is revealed that is nothing is a ruse.
So no scene.
Jon. That's it.
No scene with Benjen until season 7. That's hilarious.
Wow.
I was like, maybe there's something I'm forgetting. Nope, there's not. He just shows up. That's hilarious. That's so fucking funny.
No, you are right. Benjen appears as a vision experienced by Bran Stark in season 6. Benjen is shown, I guess, a vision. So not the Benjen we know in current time, I guess. Lyanna appears and playfully teases Benjen about not having a...
Yeah. I remember that one because it's the Hodor episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
And it's not Benjen as we know him; it's young Benjen.
So Benjen has a very interesting run through the show.
It really does. An important character that appears in like 3 episodes, which is insane.
Let's see. I guess I've never really thought to what he's Jon's uncle, so that makes him just Ned's brother.
Which makes him his uncle no matter what, because he's Lyanna's brother as well.
So it is actually Jon's uncle.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Ned
hey, let me put this to you like this. He has the same relation to Benjen as he does to Daenerys.
Oh. That's weird. So it's basically like if Benjen and Daenerys were together, and then Jon would be their nephew.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? I mean, not Daenerys. I mean, like, I guess, yeah, it'd be like a Benjen and Daenerys marriage. Like kind of. I don't know. Well, okay. Well, no, because he's born. Fuck, man, it's just it's too much.
No, it's too much, man. No, but I think stuff like that gives us a little bit more context as to why Jon is really icked. Come season 8, when he finds that out, and he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, this isn't a thing anymore. I can't in good conscience keep this going."
That is fair. I've never really thought. I've always in my head been like it was more of just like she's going off the rails. I love her, but I'm conflicted. You know,
it starts the moment he finds out he's a Targaryen.
Yeah, dang.
I think it's part of what descends Daenerys into that madness is that Jon becomes distant and stops caring. And Yeah, like it gets bad. But that's why Daenerys and Benjen have the same relation to Jon.
Wow.
But yeah, it was these two bodies they found north of the wall were Joffrey Flowers and Othor. They're dead now. But
For too long. Well, undead, but
they appear to have been dead for a while, but Sam's like, "You smell that?" They're like, "No." He's like, "Exactly. That's not normal."
Sam freaking pulled a slam dunk on him right here. They were all like, I think even someone was like, Sam, you're an idiot most of the time, or like, we hate you, but like, that was a good one. He's like,
damn,
you're
bro,
smart, man.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like, good on you, Sam.
Yeah, for real. And I was like, okay, yeah, that would be. I was like, oh, we're about to get to some good shit here, huh?
Oh,
But
yeah.
Jon and several other brothers urged Lord Commander Mormont to burn the bodies, as it could go awry if you don't. And he's like, nah, we're gonna have Maester Aemon examine them. We need to learn what's going on, which also has its merits, to be sure. But
they have
next,
no idea that they're going to come back to life. And
there's no reasonable explanation for that. It's not exactly something you can go, oh, well, just in case they rise from the dead as zombies, maybe we ought to burn these bodies.
Man, yeah, that's, I don't know, but Sam's showing his strength here, and I think it's also just cool that like he's now in. Like before, whenever they were bullying him, like all before they weren't brothers of the Night's Watch yet. But then after like everyone's taken their oath, it's kind of like they all
now
still
we're brothers.
They all still like hate each other. It's like brotherly hate now, though. It's like it's just more of like I don't know. It is just really cool that everyone's just seeming like more of a group now.
I'm just really excited to experience all this shit at the Wall again, man. Because he's here for 5.5 seasons
until he dies.
Yeah,
like yeah,
and then some, because he comes back to life in season 6 there,
and then just goes even further. Fuck it, and then comes.
Well, it's just down. Like that's the point in the show. Like oh my god, whenever Jon Snow like becomes a fucking legend, you know, like whenever it's like, oh my god, this guy is a fucking, like, there's no other way to describe him other than a legend. When he's fought the White Walkers north of the Wall, he's been killed and came back to life. He then leaves the Wall because he did die, and he goes and leads the assault on Winterfell held by Ramsay. And whenever him and Ramsay face off, and he's like, you'd think the way the Northerners talk about you, you're the greatest swordsman who ever lived. Like, that type of shit, like, that's crazy. The fact that Jon, come that point in the show, he hasn't been home in years. And Ramsay's like, the way the North talks about you, man, you'd be a goddamn god. You know, like, that's some fucking cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, literally, though. I mean, the people who have saw him come back to life, I mean, that, why wouldn't you just follow that man forever after that?
The way Davos is like, he took a goddamn knife in the heart for his people, and everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck does that mean?
Like, yeah, no, he did that shit.
He literally took a knife to the heart for his people.
There are some other people, yeah, like, I don't know, I have this poster that I always come back to. It's like the end, the group beyond the wall at the end. And, you know, it's like, we're all like, yeah, Jon came back to life, and that was all crazy and stuff. But, like, there's a dude who's done it just, like, 9, 12 times or something. You know, like, and everyone's like, that's not a god. Like, I guess there are people that follow him, like the Brotherhood, and, like, but they don't, I guess they don't really see him as a god.
They don't follow him, they're just, like, homies with him.
Oh, I guess because it's is it the fire god that brings him back? Is it the god
Lord of Light?
The Lord, yeah. So I guess it's he worships them so hard that he can come back to life. So it's like, he's not the god, even in his eyes. So I guess it is a different thing, but yeah, I don't know, Jon, and there is a line in this episode. The one, my text box is pretty full here of choosing through the lines, but one that is not in here, that it's just so cool. It's maybe I'll wait to get to it so we actually have the exact line, because it is better. But it's like it's coming up like right here, and it's so good, and it's such just a I don't know. I almost chose it as my favorite scene. Almost, it's such a small part. It's such a small part, and you won't. I don't think you'll expect it. But
all right. No, yeah, there's a lot of good scenes at the wall here. But next up, John is summoned to Mormont's chambers as news has arrived of Ned's arrest and imprisonment. And John's like, "Alrighty, I think I'm gonna head out. That's it." Mormont's like, before you go, remember that you can't do that now.
Don't do anything dumb, John.
Yeah, don't do anything stupid, boy. And he tells him that Ned's been arrested for treason. And John's like, give me that fucking letter. There's no fucking way. He reads it and he attempts to head on out when Mormont tells him, don't be fucking dumb. John's like, but my sisters. And Mormont's like, I'm sure they'll be fine.
What comforting words. Yeah, they'll be fine. I mean, like, it's fair to assume that Sansa's going to be fine. Maybe. Because she's the queen and all. But, like, that's just a very dangerous position to be in. Especially when you're fought, But, like, yeah, Arya. I don't know. I'd be scared for Arya. And
I would too.
I guess John gave her a little,
needle.
Wow. I was thinking like the Pointy End. I'm like, it's not named the Pointy End. I'm like, that's the episode. I'm like, no, that doesn't feel right.
Well, the name for this episode comes from a very specific part in this episode.
This is true.
I remember I said something earlier in the season about how she drops a kid at the end of season 1, and you guys were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, no, I'm fairly certain she kills a kid.
Yep, I guess, yeah, that kid's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like, does she stab him through the heart? Or is it just like...
She stabbed him through, like, the middle of the chest, but I don't think anyone's coming by to help anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true.
This kid might suffer.
So that's like this is Arya's first... Wow, that's nuts.
Ooh, maybe we keep count there. An Arya kill count.
Arya's list. That's nice. Yes, we do need to keep an Arya's list. Do we know the name of that boy?
Nah, just some fucking kid.
Farmer's boy? Yeah, he just showed up. He was like, I'll take that. Or like, or he was like,
he was like, I'll get a reward from the queen for this.
Yeah.
And she was like, Sykes.
Arya's kill list. We'll keep a track.
We'll keep track. But this was a good one for a lot of reasons. Arya kill count, Hodor, naked Hodor. But that's like the ultimate Hodor. If you can get a naked Hodor.
We got a lot of Hodor today.
Yeah, plenty of Hodor. But later on up at the wall, Alistair Thorne taunts Jon, being like, oh, not just a bastard. A traitor's bastard. What's a rarity.
This is the line right here. Right here. Dude says it and then just smiles at him. Like, I mean, just pure dick move, knowing full well. Like, dude is just coming out here just to bully this man in front of everyone.
He's trying to get him to the point where he can legally kill him.
Yeah. And
That's fucking insane. The fact that he's like, I'm trying to goad this man into trying to kill me so that I can legally hang him. Mm-hmm. That's my goal.
And I was wondering that the line actually is, blood will always tell, you'll hang for this bastard, is the actual line, because like his true blood will tell. Like, that's the thing, is like you said it, man. Like, you said it in your own words. Like, his blood will tell, and yeah, like go on to see what this man will do and see how you feel after like talking to him like this,
Yep.
Like that's why I love this scene, is not because of like how Jon's getting bullied, just like knowing how goated he becomes and just how much of a dick. Like, I don't know, just for no reason.
Just how much of a fucking nothing Thorne is.
And I was wondering if, like, the Lord Commander put him up to it. Was like, don't do anything stupid, Jon. And, whether he was like, hey, like, just go antagonize Jon, see what happens. Like, I don't know. But, like, no. And then I'm like, I don't want to give this guy any credit. This is just pure dick move. Mm-hmm. Like, just, like, oh my God.
Well, I love, one of my favorite things, I also love this scene. I almost went with it for my favorite scene, and in fact, I'm still on the fence. I think it might end up coming back around. But the fact that there's no hesitation, John just rears up and is ready to stab this man. Like, yeah, I'll kill you right now.
Yeah, that's all.
And then even cooler is that Gren, Pip, and Sam are like, no. Like, they're like, you cannot do that. Like, they like pull up and they stop him in time to keep him from doing it. Like, and like the fact that it takes literally all three of them to stop him from killing this man.
I mean, every time we see John Swordfighter do anything, the dude is just, he's like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's for real. If you were trained in a castle, like you grew up in a castle, like you're like that. And like, and he was good in the castle as well. You know, he was known as good already within the castle. So it's like, damn.
He's fire with it. This was his, I got you on assaulting an officer. I've got you on assault. You got me on assaulting 3. And like that was John's Batman moment here. But,
Batman, okay. I can maybe see it. I don't know.
But, they all have to hold John back, and Thorne's like, ha ha ha, blood will always tell. You'll hang for this. He flips him the finger and walks away with a little giggle. Not literally, but that's what it felt like. And in the background, of course, the way Thorne like exits the picture and Mormont's just standing there like, damn shame. That's the thing, though. I think Thorne might have timed it so that Mormont would see it. I
think that's what he did. And like Mormont, he did come over and he told John, he's like, I told you not to do anything dumb. And then he didn't say another word. He just walked away. Like, and any other TV show where it's like the warden or like the boss, they say a snarky like, now get back to work or something before they walk back. But that's the thing. He didn't have to say, he literally just looked at everybody and turned around and everyone just got back to work. Like, it was just like, I don't know. That's like the difference, like just little details like that where it's just not lazy, like obvious, right? I don't know. It makes sense. Like now that you said George R. R. Martin wrote this episode, like, cause all the lines, the reason I wrote down so many of them is just because a lot of them have so much future implications and like so much, like they mean so much.
Right.
But you wouldn't know until later on, like way later on is the thing.
No, 100%. But Commander Mormont dismisses him to go back to his quarters and to not leave. He's grounded. You can't come out of your room. Go to your room. And that night, John is roused by Ghost scratching the door. And John's like, what is it, boy? Fuck the rules. I'm just going to go ahead and walk on out of here. I love that he had like there was never a thought in his mind like, oh, maybe I should follow the rules. No, he was like, I'm going to leave my fucking room.
In John's mind, it's probably like, he's probably so honorable where he wants to follow the rules, but then he's like, well, also someone might be in danger. And I am a good swordsman, and they need my help. I must be a hero. Which, I mean, came in handy here.
It did. It did. And this is like, I'm curious I know the North is like really like north of the wall is like really spiritual in some regard. Ghost can just sense this motherfucker.
That's a detail I picked up on this episode that I thought was really cool. And I didn't know if it was like intentional to the fact of like, in the first episode, they're like, direwolves aren't meant to be this, like, they're not meant to be south of the wall. Like, this is not where they're meant to be. And, like, it'd be awesome if, like, the wildlings use direwolves to, like, as, like, you know, like, to sense when a White Walker is near. Like, they would, if a direwolf were to start growling or start, you know, howling, it's like, oh, White Walkers are coming. And it's like, because, I mean, Ghost, like, he was scratching at that door, trying to leave, and then he kept scratching at the door, it would make sense if he was just trying to get to John, but, like, also the White Walker is in that room, too. Yeah. And he's just desperately trying to get in. And I think there's dragons, so, like, there's definitely magic in the show, and they're not just wolves. They're not just, like, normal wolves. So, like, if there is some magical aspect to them, I think they're basically just, like, the best White Walker hunting companion that there is.
Probably.
They're just good boys.
They are the goodest. They're the goodest boys. They deserve all the pats and boops. But Yeah, I loved this scene. Like, and this was one of those things that just makes John eventually one of my favorite characters. The the hero's journey typically has the hesitation where it's like, oh, I don't know if I can go do that. Like, I think I need to stay here and hold it down for the good of me and my family. He's like, fuck it, I'll go headlong into danger. I don't give a fuck about my life. It's kind of he kind of has a death wish the entire show.
That's true. Yeah, he's a little too reckless at some points. Like at the Battle of the Bastards, Like, I mean, dude, you are badass and you've come back to life and you've done a lot of bad shit before that, but like, that's just unrealistic there.
Oh yeah,
know?
no, he's ready to die.
I guess that's more of what it is.
Yeah,
it's just,
like I don't think he thinks he can take on an entire army. I think he went, well, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down swinging.
You know what? I guess in his mind, he's like, if I do win, this makes an even more badass story. Yeah. So I guess, you know what? Fair enough.
Worth the shot.
I died and come back, so I can do this. So.
But yeah, John makes it to the room, to Lord Commander's chambers, and he's confronted by a white, reanimated corpse of the dead. It was either that Olaf or other fucking guy, can't remember, Othor or Jafer Flowers, one of those guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one of those guys. And this battle goes on for a while. John stabs him through the chest, and he collapses. And it's like, oh, cool. I don't think that's how that works. And then Commander Mormont comes out. I was like, John, what the fuck? And he's like, you need to fucking go. Get in there. Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? The guy, the dead white, snaps its eyes open, stands up, pulls the sword out of him. And like that, I was trying to remember if Lord Commander buys into this stuff. I was like, I couldn't remember if he watches this white like get up or if he just thinks John came in here and went crazy and just stabbed a fucking dead guy. But no, when the dead guy stands up and pulls the sword out of him, it's pretty damning. That's and he sees it.
He can't really come back from that one and be like, nope, that's just nothing to think about. That's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. And he reaches out, grabs a oil lamp on the wall, screams in pain, note, and throws it at the White Walker, setting it on fire.
Note. Very important note.
Yeah. Heard him.
He
got burnt.
You think that's this is written by George R. R. Martin?
No, yeah, like that's a
wow. Yeah.
I think that's a guarantee that Daenerys is specifically special. As far as her ability to not get burnt.
Daemon.
I think.
Daemon. Targaryen. He rode through Dragonfire, dude. That's... I don't know. There was a lot of air movement and a lot of other factors going on there. Daenerys literally walked out of fire and literally has shown multiple times like doing that and stuff. But like, I mean,
Daemon's on the fence right now.
That's Dragonfire though that Daemon went through. That's not just like normal campfire fire. That's Dragonfire. And when anyone gets touched by Dragonfire, gone. I mean, instant evaporation. So I don't know. Daemon, he's 50-50.
He's on the fence right now. We need confirmation.
Wow, I didn't think of that's why they did it. Because honestly, whenever I was thinking about him grabbing the lantern, I'm like, why the fuck did he grab it right there? I'm like, why didn't he just grab it on the top on the handle and then throw, like why did he actually grab it there?
Yeah, no time to think. Grabbed it, threw it.
And I didn't even think that it's like, oh no, it burnt him. Like,
yeah, no, and I think in the coming episodes he shows up with like a wrap on his hand and arm.
Wow. Okay.
So like he got burnt here, which I think is an important little note about how Targaryens don't all have that ability. Even if you were on the fence about Viserys a couple episodes ago being like, yeah, I mean maybe he couldn't get burnt, but he did get gold melded around his fucking skull. That's gonna be hard to come back from, no matter what.
I wonder if there's ever an example later on in the show where it shows him getting burnt, or like maybe if when he comes back to life, if after that he doesn't get burnt somehow, you know, like if there's a change in the show. I don't know, because I've never even thought about it before of him getting burnt or like at all.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. I wonder if there is another opportunity for that. And that would be interesting if it is after he comes back to life.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be sick. He was born a Stark, but came back to life a Targaryen. You know, or like something like that. I don't know.
Some weird shit like that. No, yeah.
Born in the fire. Dude! He was born in ice as a Stark, as a fucking in the north, and then he was born. Well, I guess that was in the north that he was like resurrected. So,
reborn via the Lord of Light.
Yeah, in the fire.
In the fire, right?
And then maybe after that, because like fire, he was born in it and stuff. I could see
right.
it.
No, but
the show's already out. This is probably like already known, and people are already like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" John is like literally on his whole legs on fire in season 5, episode 8. You idiot, or something. You know, like I don't know. But
you picked a really good episode randomly. That's hard home. The next time he faces White Walkers like fully,
that's just how I do it. You know,
that's just how you do it.
I knew that. I knew that going in. But man, yeah, the wall's just too ripe for.
There's too much there. There's too much there. But yeah, the morning after, Mormont's like, you know what? We can burn these bodies. And they go ahead and burn the bodies. And frankly, kind of a good thing they didn't.
Makes they would have no idea.
Yeah, it makes the threat real.
That's true.
And Sam's like, well, White Walkers, huh? Right? It's got to be that. Can't be anything else. And they're like, he's like, only fire can destroy these creatures. And they're like, how the fuck do you know that? He's like, I read a fucking book, man. Read it. A very, very old book. And they're like, what else does it say? And he's like, well, let's just say, I hope the wall is big enough.
Yeah, there's my another one of my lines was he says the White Walkers sleep beneath the ice for thousands of years, and when they wake up, and then he looks at the wall and just like he's so scared, you know. In his voice, it's like he's telling a ghost story at a campfire, but like this one's real, and like it just became real. And then he's like, I hope the wall is high enough. And then everyone in that moment looks at the wall and is just like,
oh, and the way it just like pans up and up and up and up, and it just kept going. I was kind of like, when's this fucking end?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's the line I'll end up going with, but it was just one that was like,
it's a good one.
It was just one that has a lot of, I don't know, future, just a cool, like, putting the threat of the White Walkers in, even though we don't really, like, I don't know, it's crazy that it's like, they don't become a real threat until the wall goes down. No, honestly, until like they get a dragon. Until the Night King gets a dragon, they didn't become a threat because he had no way of getting through the wall without that dragon. Like, honestly, that's really the time where it's like, oh fuck, now we're fucked.
Well, that's when he becomes a threat to the kingdoms at large.
That's what I really meant.
Okay, like, I was gonna say he becomes a threat to the characters we like in season 4, I think. There's that episode that ends with Samwell like cowering behind a rock as the White Walkers walk right past him, and they just like shriek at him and then walk away. Like, I don't know, like they were like, warn your fucking friends, buddy.
Yeah, I guess.
Do it.
I guess they have some like actual consciousness to them, or they're just evil as fuck, and just that's what they do. I don't know.
Well, they obey all the commands of the Night King. He controls literally all of them.
It is just him, actually.
But I don't know how that works with like the White Walkers themselves. Instead of like the Whites, all the like skeleton soldiers, they obey the will of the Night King. But like the big dudes with the long white hair going through, like I feel like they can kind of think for themselves a little bit.
Okay. Or maybe the White Walkers is just kind of like it's like a sentry, just like a slave, you know, like, all right, just go kill yourself in my name, you know, just like, it doesn't just go fight. And then the like captains is like his actual brain, like actual thoughts. And he's like using them as like
the White Walker capos.
Yeah. I'd say like it's just more of a strong mind connection that he has with them,
And I
rather
keep
than all
sitting
the.
at his desk. He's like, these things you do for me, I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Go,
I mean
go
that's
fuck yourself and die.
the Night King is. I mean, basically the ultimate Godfather.
Yeah, the
Ability
ultimate.
to rise the dead, to rise the people that you killed to join your army. Your army only grows, even if you die.
All the foot
Like
soldiers.
that's the thing. That I'm if so the only way a White Walker dies is like Valyrian steel or dragon glass. That's it. If they get shattered into like ice, they're gone.
Yeah.
If they just get stabbed with a regular sword, they can eventually come back.
I don't even think a regular sword can do
Like
anything to
it
them.
just
Like I don't
staggers
even
them,
think you
really.
can. I don't even think you can pierce them with a regular
Oh,
sword.
I guess like the undead people. I guess that's where I have the confusion. A White Walker, is that like the captains? And like that's or is a White Walker just like a person that came back to life?
The White Walkers are the captains. The Whites are the foot
Okay.
soldiers.
The Whites. So the Whites. Oh no, the
And
Whites can be killed by normals. They
yeah,
can
I think they
actually just be
can.
killed
Oh,
by
and
normal
maybe this is
weapons.
something that evolves over the course of the show. Because I do think there's a point where the Whites are just getting. Maybe they can die, but they can be reanimated. Maybe once they're deaded with Valyrian steel or dragon glass, they can't come back.
I think that's what it is. That's what keeps them dead. You either burn them, Valyrian steel, or dragon glass. That's like the only like the three ways to ensure a death. If not, the Night King can just be like, "All right, you're back," which is nuts. Like,
yeah, crazy.
Jesus,
Dude's got too much power.
I don't know. It's crazy that I'm like actually getting I'm getting a way deeper understanding of the show. Like now.
Oh yeah.
Rewatch.
Well, and that's kind of what this what a rewatch podcast will do for us, because I've watched the show a few times, but I've never talked about every single episode. You know what I'm saying? Like I've only ever just watched him like, yo, big moments, big moments, big moments. Let's talk about them. Like we're talking about every tiny little fucking thing.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough.
Which is huge. But that did conclude the story at the Wall. Next up, we're at the Eyrie for a brief scene where Catelyn is furious with Lysa. First for Lysa not immediately telling her that about Ned's arrest, and second for refusing to consider summoning the Knights of Vale for war. And Lysa's like, no, they killed my husband, which, Cap, you killed your husband.
Wait.
That gets revealed later, that her and Littlefinger killed her husband to frame the Lannisters and start the war. Littlefinger really orchestrates this shit.
God, I don't even think I really ever realized that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I just, whenever that was revealed, it just went over my head.
You remember later on when Littlefinger comes to the Vale and she's like all over him?
No, wait, yeah, that's right. Oh my God, no. Oh. Yeah. Fuck, dude, this show. Oh my God,
they recontextualize stuff like crazy because she's just lying her ass off here. She poisoned her husband, and Littlefinger told her to.
Because I was wondering, I was like, even if you don't want to if you don't agree to sending out all of your men to go fight whatever, like you still tell your sister that like her husband has been arrested for treason. Like you still just go to your like the Raven wasn't sent to you. Like, she literally, like, are you kidding? Like,
yeah, are you fucking nuts?
Like, it was meant for her through you. It was just, sent to the Vale, and it was very important, meant to hand to you only, like, I don't know. Just, yeah. Now I hate her even more.
Oh, yeah, she sucks. She's just terrible. Damn. And she is actually a Star Wars crossover, in a microscopic role in Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Really?
She's one of the First Order's, like, people at a desk, like, so they have one person approaching via fighter, like she's at the very beginning on the Dreadnought.
She's Empire, dude.
She's First Order. So a little Star Wars crossover there, and not the only one of the episode. Fun fact. We will get to more, but Yeah, so basically Lysa's just being a bitch here. Says that she wants the Knights of the Vale to stay in the Vale to protect her son. And that's just kind of it. That's it for the Eyrie. That's all that we get there. And
I guess like she did have some point. She was like, I want to protect my son. He has to grow a lot in order for him to be a ruler, at all. So like maybe war is not the best thing, but then also at the same time, it's like started this shit in the first place. So what I want. So that's So it's like to Catelyn, it's like, okay, maybe you have a point. I'm still pissed. Like fuck you still, but like but then actually reality, it's just fuck you.
It's just fuck you. It's just fuck you. Lysa's well, she's also nuts. Like she has her reasons in her head. She's right, but she's just wrong. She's just wrong in all sorts of ways. But next up, we're in the Mountains of the Moon, where Tyrion and Bronn have reached the western edge of the Vale and are surrounded by members of the Hill Tribes, led by Shagga, son of Dolph, who might be my favorite character of the episode, Shagga, son of Dolph. He's not, but I love Shagga, son of Dolph. And he is our other Star Wars crossover, appearing in the very same scene as Lysa Arryn.
As a First Order person? Or
as a First Order captain. He's Captain Kennedy. He leads the dreadnought that gets exploded at the beginning of the... He's the one who's like all fire on that ship, like he's the dude who's running the dreadnought when he pulls out.
What, man? That's awesome.
Yeah, so just a few few crossovers right there, right in a row. But yeah, Shagga's like, kill these motherfuckers. And Tyrion does what he does best and tells them, hey, I'm a Lannister. I can get you money. I can get you... Oh, you know what? The Vale, Jon Arryn just died. You want the Vale? I can give you the Vale, man.
I think the Vale needs some new lords. And they're like, okay. They're like, fine.
Well, what's just insane is that, like, Tyrion... This is one of the only times Tyrion's like, I have no intention of paying upon this debt. I don't think there's any way he thought... I don't think there's any way he thought this was possible.
He's just like, I need to say anything to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
That's all he was thinking. But no, I'm getting like Tyrion, Peter Dinklage. He's getting my second performance nod of the season.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
He was so funny. Like, oh my God, some of his lines were just too good. And he just did so much of his shit, like the whole episode of just him being Tyrion. So I don't know. He has one of the lines that I might go with. I don't think so. But it'll come a little bit later out. But I love Tyrion in this episode. So he is my performance that I ended up going with. It was close between another one. But I think we'll get to him later.
Yeah, no, we will. But yeah, this is a nice brief scene here. Tyrion's like, I'll get you guys this land. The Hill Tribes have been disrespected for too long. Y'all need to rise up, and here, I'll help you out. I'm Tyrion Lannister. We can make this happen. And they're like, okay, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this. And they escort Tyrion and Bronn westward toward where the Lannister army gathers. And I like that they just roll together now. They're like, yep, let's go. Come on, guys.
Tyrion's like, all right, I'll go ahead. You guys stay here. And they're like, no chance. They're like, nope, just so that your army can come slaughter us. No chance. Yeah, and I don't know. It was they were just like best pals though. I don't know. It's like they're frenemies. It's like they're like friends, but also at the same time, it's like if you try anything, we'll just kill you.
We're gonna kill you.
We don't care about you at all, really. We just want what you promised us.
Yeah,
which
for
I
sure.
love. It's just I don't know. That's why the show's just you get relationships like this. They're like. Just doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like at the end of the show, like,
Tyrion and Shagga, son of Dolph, is not a duo. I come away from Game of Thrones being like, God, you remember Tyrion and Shagga, son of Dolph? But I love it while it's here.
Maybe we should. I don't know. Maybe Shagga, son of Dolph, deserves more credit than he's given in Game of Thrones.
I think he does. I think he deserves a lot more credit. But next up, we're in the north, where Robb receives a letter from Sansa and King's Landing asking him to pledge fealty to King Joffrey. And Maester Luwin's like, yeah, all right. It's written in your sister's hand, but it is the queen's words.
They pick that out right away.
They don't even. I love that everywhere they don't even debate that.
John was the only one. Was that because I guess that letter, yeah, still was sent by the queen, I guess, but he read it and he didn't say that this wasn't his sister's words, right? Did he say that, or he was just worried
I don't think
about
he
it?
did. Catelyn, I think, says something about it later.
Yeah. I think John's the only one that doesn't actually say something.
Yeah, no, but there's also the fact that I don't think John likes Sansa all that much. Sansa's been a bitch to him his entire fucking life.
Sansa is basically how Catelyn is to.
Oh yeah, she takes after her mom big time.
Yeah, and then Arya's the cool.
There's a part in the books where she's Sansa thinks to herself she wishes Arya was a bastard, not John. Because she hates her sister and stuff. They go into the sisters hating each other a lot more in the book than they do in the show. I mean, they've shown it though. Sansa and her clearly have nothing in common. But yeah, there's a part in the book where Sansa is hanging out with Marcella, Joffrey's sister, and is I wish I had a sister like this. I wish I had a sister who had more things in common with me. And
dang.
Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah. So I think there's reason to be Sansa might have written this, but Maester Luwin is yeah, it's the queen's work, and Rob's yeah, well, we're not even gonna send out ravens. We're not gonna go down there. Fuck no, we're not pledging fealty. Send the ravens, summon the bannermen. The North is heading to war.
Instantly, dude was well, I'm the current, liege lord of Winterfell. I got to protect my father's honor.
I really do think he waited until he couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
He could have been impulsive and gone to war earlier. After the information of Ned getting stabbed through the leg, and even then, when Theon was go to war, dude. You got to do it. He's it's probably not the time. We should hold off a little bit. And then this happens, and he's well, that's it. Now we go to war. And the way Theon is yeah, that's
he's
right.
Ready. Yeah. I mean, it's the time. People are going to be hyped up and wanting to do this. But it's you got to hype yourself up if you're going into war, I'd say. You can't really have the mindset of damn.
Oh man, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Especially when you have to fight with a sword.
Yeah, dude. Man, that's a different game, man.
Woo. Yeah.
That's a different game. War is very up close and personal for them. But not to say war isn't up close and personal for everybody who goes to war. Sorry to everybody who's ever fought in war.
Yeah, it still sucks.
No matter what,
throughout
it's
time.
ass.
Yeah, throughout time, it sucks.
War's never been good. Unless it's a fucking rap battle. I don't know. But at Winterfell, Robb holds a feast for several of his newly arrived bannermen. Great John Umber assumes that he will lead the vanguard. He's so it's going to be me, right? It's going to be me. Yeah. And he learns that it will be Glover who's leading the vanguard. And he's this is fucking ridiculous. The day an Umber follows a Glover is the day I fucking die. I will, and he threatens to withdraw, and in response, Robb's hey, okay. After the conflict, I'll go ahead and oust Great John for his keep and hang him for breaking his oaths. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
How about I just kill your ass for breaking your oath? How's that?
I'll march south, I'll win the war, and then when I'm done with that, I'll march back north and then kill you. How do you feel about that, dude? Yeah.
And
fair
Great
enough.
John's you fucking with me, right? He stands up, goes to draw his weapon, and Robb 6 Grey Wind on his ass.
Is it does he? Or is that just him
that's
doing
the
it
connection. That's the connection between the person and the dog. They're
it's him. It's fully Robb telling him.
Oh yeah, Rob was he probably let out a little, some little snap at the side of his.
Just two of them.
His ass.
Just two. Don't no more than two. Just
get a couple fingers. Get a couple fingers.
No more than
get
that.
Some fingies for you.
We still need him to fight.
But Rob's like, all right, this that it is death to bear steel against your liege lord, but I'll just assume that you only meant to cut my meat for me. And Great John's he's seething in anger for a couple seconds, and then he's like, yo, that was dope. Dope. That was so cool, man. I love this kid. Let's do it. I love that the North is so fucking hard that this man was sold when 2 of his fingers got chewed off.
And that's the thing. Everyone else in the room was not phased either. 2 of his fingers were cut off, and everyone was looking at him just kind of this is an everyday event, whatever. And then he starts laughing, and everyone's like, what a great time to be in the North.
Great John looking like he's fucking Inisharan.
Yeah. Not going to lie, that this went right over my head every time that I watched it. Even repeating it twice, this rewatch, I still didn't really understand it. I thought Rob was trying to diss him somehow. By saying he was a butcher or something was the first impression that I got of it. And then I had to read on the wiki that it was just him being no, I won't kill you. I'll just say that you were, going to cut my meat for me.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? You're and that Rob is he suffers from a few of the dumbassery things that Ned does. But tactically and diplomatically, this dude's top tier.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's one of the best at what he does.
He does something later that angers a lot of people, but smart on him.
Yep, he had to do it. Yeah, Great John roars with laughter. Is like, you know what? Fuck yeah, Rob! I'll follow you in the battle. That was awesome. And Bran's sitting there like, what the fuck? That's what did it? That was just cool. I love that. I'd be Bran in that situation. I'd be sitting there he just got 2 of his fingies ate. No way.
Yeah, what is he? How old is he? 12?
Younger.
10 and 2? Or was it 10?
10, I think.
Yeah, I think he's just 10. Dude's maybe 11 after he's been in a coma. Has it been a year? No.
No, not yet.
Yeah, so dude's 10 years old. Dude's growing up fast.
He might be 9. He's young. He's a young kid. No, yeah, he's 10 because Jamie asks him in the window, "How old are you?" He's like 10.
And I think,
boy,
who of you was a swordsman at 10, or an archer, or a bowsman, or whatever at 10? Yeah, I think that's. Yeah.
Who of you was an archer at 10?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna hurt like fucking hell to lose Ned.
That's next episode, man.
God, I hadn't even thought of the first episode in so long. You say that, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
It hurts so much worse every time. But Rob goes on and says goodbye to Bran and Rickon in the north, and he bids them adieu. And then Rickon, in all his little fucking genius, is like, Mommy, I flew up. He's got that energy to him in the doorway. But he goes up to Bran and he's like, they're not coming back. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're going to see them all again. It'll be fine. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
He just waddles on out of the room.
Raven in that moment, It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
Rickon's really we're never going to see any of them again. And poor little Rickon only ever sees Bran again, I think. I don't think he ever sees any of his family again.
He runs towards Jon right before he dies.
That's true. I guess he does see Jon.
He doesn't get to him.
No.
He only gets halfway there.
No, yeah, he does see Jon. He doesn't have much interaction with him beyond that.
Wait, is Cersei with Ramsay at that time? Or Cersei,
Sansa?
Sansa?
She's escaped come that time.
Okay.
Yeah, she's escaped that with Theon, because that's what brings Theon back, is helping Sansa.
Right. That's right.
Man. No, yeah, that's a really, really good season, man. Season 6 is it's crazy how good a season that is. But next up, Bran is praying out by the weirwood tree when he's approached by Osha, and this again, I fucking love OSHA, dude. I love this character. And I'm so glad that like we're taking it week by week because we get like little tidbits of OSHA every week instead of it being like, I remember when I binged this show, I just didn't think she was prominent. Obviously she's not prominent. She's a side character big time. But getting a little scene with her every week is super fucking cool. I like it. But OSHA's like, you mind if I pray with you? You know, north of the wall, the old gods are the only gods. You know, it's all there is. And she laments that the South has lost touch with the past and they cut down their werewoods years ago. And therein, the Northerners will not be protected. She's like, that's why Northerners never do good when they go south. The werewoods don't exist down there anymore. Which holds a little bit of merit, I would say. They never do well when they go south.
That's true. That is interesting. Whether like, because wasn't the Night King created with like the root of a werewood tree or something?
He was
like
created with dragon glass.
That's right, it was dragon glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah. No.
But
At
yeah,
the base of a werewood tree, though, I feel like a tree was involved.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was late. He was up against a werewood tree when that happened.
Well, there's some connection there.
There's a little bit. There's a little bit of something there. But she's like, but it's probably good to go ahead and head south. Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck's going on up north. It's getting bad. It's getting bad out there. And they're interrupted when Hodor and all his naked glory pulls on up. How many Hodors do we get in this scene?
Just one.
Just one Hodor?
Just a single Hodor. Just like
he pulls up and he doesn't say anything, right? He just stands there.
Yep.
And then they're like, and Osha's like, oh, there's giant's blood if I've ever seen it. Oh, this man. And I love that Osha's like, aren't you a beautiful big man? I love this guy. And
they definitely. I mean, come on. It had canon.
Hodor and Osha hooked up.
Yeah, for sure.
Headcanon. But Bran's like, Hodor, come on, man. I don't want to see your dick. And he's like, Hodor, and he runs away. And curious, Bran's like, are giants real? Do they live beyond the wall? And she's like, yeah, they do. It's a real thing. Many other beings as well, though, not all of them very friendly. And she asserts that the army Robb has gathered should be marching north, not south. I was like, oh, okay. Osha's one of the early ones who's like, we got a threat to the north. You better go. I really like it. I really like it. I'll just continue to love Osha's character. I can't wait till there's finally an episode where I can like confidently go, she's my favorite, you know, because while I do love the character consistently, there's just an undeniable one in this
without a doubt. It's without a doubt.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how you cannot. But next up, Catelyn and Sir Roderick intercept Robb's army in the neck as it presses southward, and Robb initially exclaims with excitement upon seeing his mother, but stops short of embracing her because, you know, all the bannermen are present. He can't look like he loves his mom. That makes him look weak. Oh, you love your mom, boy? You're a pussy. But Catelyn looks at her son with understanding, later embracing once everybody's left the tent, and is like, okay, I get it.
Didn't want to embarrass you in front of all the boys, honey. You know, like, I don't know, it was really cute.
No, I love you. She starts kissing his cheeks and stuff. But she tells Robb he has no choice but to go to war. She's like, yeah, that was it. You know, like, you made the right call. There was no doubt that this is what had to happen. And she's like, however, because you went to war, you now cannot lose, lest my life and Ned's life and Sansa's life and Arya's life and everybody's life be gone.
No pressure or anything, but now that you started war, you can't lose, dude.
Oh, and I loved, and like Robb's response was fucking badass. The way he was like, all the more reason to fucking win then. You know, like he was like, no
that
fucking problem.
Simple, then. He says that makes it simple.
Oh God, what like
father died.
That's why it hurt. That's why the Red Wedding hurts so fucking bad, because this dude, he was a fucking real one. Like, Rob is good at what he does.
Young Ned. This is
Yeah.
like the closest thing we get to a young Ned. Cause like imagining Ned in his glory days, like fighting alongside Robert, like young, I don't know, just like while he's in his prime too, would be just badass. Like a whole, like we get a glimpse of it, like whenever he's defending, Lyanna and at the tower for a little bit of young Ned. Who the actor that plays him, is that like a crossover of something? I feel, is that?
He's in the Lord of the Rings of Power show.
I knew I saw him somewhere for some reason. That was just
he's in Rings of Power. I think he might be in something else, but I know he's in Rings of Power.
That's what I was thinking about from them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Seeing like Rob, I don't know. It's not like he is Ned. He is still his own like character for sure. I don't just want to say like he's just young Ned, because that
right.
The credit that he deserves. But it's like, it is just kind of the closest thing that we can get to like what Ned was like if we were to see him in his prime.
No, for sure. No, I'm looking at young Ned's IMDb. He's been in a few things.
Oh, really?
Mindhunter. Have you watched Mindhunter?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, he's in Mindhunter. He's also in the new Kingsman movie from last year.
Maybe. Okay, wow. Maybe like all of these were it.
Yeah, no, like you've probably seen him in a few things. I was like, I read all those, and I was like, I think Joe likes all of these things. So I was like, all right, yeah. He's been around.
Young Ned.
Not a lot. What's crazy too is not a lot of acting credits. Like, this dude's got like here, let's check, 17 acting credits, and you've seen 4 of them, which is a pretty good percentage. Wow.
Maybe I like this dude. Just, I don't know, more than I think.
More than you know.
To him, I don't know.
Yeah, but later on, Rob and his lords are debating on the route of their march, which way to attack at, and whether to march directly against Tywin's army or against Jaime's army besieging Riverrun. And to get to Jaime, they need to cross the Green Fork of the Trident. And what they'll need is a bridge. And the only way they get that bridge is from Walder Frey. This is a problem for 2 seasons.
Yep.
And it kills him. I couldn't believe it when I heard this. I was like, holy shit, it's the first thing he deals with.
It is, if they get this, that's the thing, is like, if they do get the bridge over Walder Frey, they get a big upper hand. So like, they almost win the war if this happens.
Yeah.
The Red Wedding is like what solidifies the loss,
yeah.
It's like it is do or die there is what it happens to be, which is way cooler, because like I've always thought of it as like it was just them dying there. It was just an out of nowhere, like they just died, what the fuck. But really it was like, if they would have won, it changes everything. Like, if they don't lose there, then like things are way different.
Yeah, it's a different world it could be over in Westeros.
Mentioned right now, like it was.
Yeah, the first episode, Rob declares war. It's one of the first things he deals with his bannermen. Like, that's crazy. But a Lannister scout is captured and pulls on up, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, let's kill this motherfucker!" They're like,
Death, let's fucking go. Like, yeah, everyone's getting, I don't know, it feels like a hype.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. Like, everyone's so excited. And Rob's like, hold the fucking phone. How high'd you get? How high'd you count? And he's like, I got to at least 20,000, which, cap, they have 18,000 people in their army.
Yep.
So like, this guy's bad at counting. And I know you're probably not literally counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you imagine if he was doing that? Like, he was like literally counting heads. It's probably like, you got camps, you estimate how many people are in each tent, and then you kind of just, so roughly 20,000 is what he lands on. And Rob's like,
him actually good estimate. Like,
oh yeah, he did pretty good.
Like, actually pretty fucking good.
He did pretty good. It was rather impressive here, but everyone's like, all right, well, let's kill this guy. You gonna kill him, Rob? And Rob's like, no. You see, tell Lord Tywin, winter is coming for him. 20,000 Northerners marching south to find out if he really does shit gold. That's my line. And Rob's my character.
I was going to add it in my text box as well, but then I saw that you had it, and I figured maybe to not add another line. To choose from, I'll let you claim it over there. But yeah, what a line, man! Is this? I'm curious if this does come back to bite him. If this is why the Lannisters, does this tip them off to go to Walter Frey, or does Walter Frey do that all on his own? Why does he?
No, the Lannisters. Tywin sells Walter Frey on that. That's something. Well, it's also Roose Bolton. He's also involved in it.
Okay. That's right. Wow.
Yeah, there's a few things. It's like some conspiracy against the Starks, because I don't think this does it necessarily. I think Tywin's smart enough to know that that's something they would need to do. He's tactically intelligent enough to recognize, okay, well, they need to cross at the Twins. That's a thing they need to do. What I do fear is that it lets them know that they are marching.
They are coming. Yeah. It gives them.
But that's what Rob wanted to project on him. He was like, you know what? That's what I want him to know.
I guess he did it because his numbers were already elevated. So that was kind of the main reason he did, because right when he said to 20,000, that's when Rob was like, okay, now I'm sending him back.
Mm-hmm.
It was because he overestimated at least 20,000.
Yeah.
And then Rob then declares, tell him that 20,000 men. So it was kind of why didn't you say, I don't know. I guess if he said 25,000 men, and then he only shows up with 18, I think that's actually worse. I don't know.
I have the flip perspective where it means he's got 7,000 men he didn't send to battle. He was confident he could send 18,000 people into battle and be just fine.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, which I think is why he says which is why he's like, oh, you overestimated? Cool.
That's fair. I didn't think about
shit.
that. Yeah,
that way they don't know what the real numbers are.
Where are these other non-existent people? Yeah, yep. Okay. I see.
Yeah. But
War. Ooh.
War. That is the end of that storyline in the North, and Rob is my favorite character of the episode. I loved Robb Stark this week. The rise of the King in the North really begins here.
Oh yeah. No, he's badass. I had to give it to him too. I couldn't. I don't know. I was trying to find anyone else, and maybe Khal Drogo, but I was like, nah. I couldn't over Rob. Rob has too much character development here.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's crucial. But next up, in a brief scene at the Lannister camp, Tyrion, Bronn, and Shagga, son of Dolph, with the rest of the hill tribesmen, arrive at the encampment, and Tywin Lannister is talking to his brother, Sir Kevin. It always just sends me that this dude's name is just Kevin.
Wait, who's Kevin?
The guy Tywin's talking to when they arrive in the tent. He's Tywin's brother.
That's Kevin Lannister.
Kevin Lannister.
Wow, shows how of an important character he is.
Yeah.
I say the more normal the name is, the less important you are. Rob, semi-normal name, dies pretty early. Daenerys, weird as fuck name. She's all the way through. She dies at the end. Well, a little bit before the end, I guess. Jon.
Last episode.
Jon's pretty normal. Well, Aegon. Actually. So my theory still holds, maybe. Ned, pretty normal, dies pretty early.
Robert?
I think I cracked George R. R. Martin's
Tyrion
name.
Makes it to the end. Cersei?
Jaime? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is where the theory
Falls
kind
apart.
of breaks.
A little bit. Apart.
Hodor. No, but the guys pull up to Kevin and Tywin here, and they're planning an engagement of the Stark army, which is moving south from the Neck. And Tywin shows no sign of relief that his son is alive. He's like, "Oh, okay, Tyrion, hi. You realize that you sent us into war, right?" And Tywin's like, "Yeah, I'll take the help of the tribesmen." And Shag is like, "Oh yeah, sure. We'll only fight though if Tyrion fights too."
I love how Tywin is like, "Yep,
deal.
Yep. Like, if he dies, good. If not, whatever. Like, at least my son's
pretty sure. Isn't this the battle where he gets knocked out at like the very beginning by one of his soldiers and then just sleeps through the whole thing?
I think this where he gets the scar, or is that later on?
No, that's at the Battle of the Blackwater.
Okay. Man, he does fight a lot, actually, now that I think about it. He fights a little more than I thought. Yeah, no, I feel like he does just get, like, he charges in all triumphant, and it's like about, and then it's just like, boom.
Like someone's like swinging a weapon, and it like hits him in the face, and he gets knocked out.
He wakes up on like the back of like a cart or something like that. Like, just travel, or I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
No, but yeah, that is the end of the storyline at the Lannister encampment. And next up, we are in Lazar over in Essos, where Khal Drogo, having taken an oath to take the Iron Throne, has begun his march of conquest to the Narrow Sea. And the Dothraki raid a village in Lazar. It's a pretty peaceful little village southeast of Vaes Dothrak, and they're financing the war to come. They must raid villages, take people to sell into slavery, and gain money to hire ships for the Khalasar to assault Westeros. And Daenerys is like, "This sucks. We shouldn't be doing this." And Jorah's like, "Well, you wanted to go across the sea." And this is kind of what we don't have any ships. We need money to get ships, and we don't have any ways to make money besides this. And I just like to think of Khal Drogo being like, "All right, everybody, it's time for a bake sale," and they all make like cupcakes.
Yeah, but instead, in this way, it was like, let's chop up all of these bodies and then feed them to our horses and rape their women and which I love. I love this, like the story. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like the queen keeping the king in check. The king is just doing what a king would do, going to war, doing what he thinks is necessary. But then the queen being like, "Holy fuck, no! Like, what are you doing right now, man? Like, come on!"
And this is what sets, like, this episode really sets Daenerys down a path that's like this is what she does.
Yeah. Yeah, and
she's the breaker of chains, like this is...
Her braids are getting a little more detailed.
Yeah, a little bit more intricate.
Every episode, every battle they win, another braid is added to her. Which is just so sick. And, like, she continues it all the way through the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, yeah, she orders the reaving and raping of their women to stop. And the Dothraki are like, "Yo! It's the spoils of my victory." What am I to do?
Snitch. Yeah, they literally go snitch to Drogo. Like, dude, he's just like telling us we can't even rape these women right now. Like, what are we supposed to do, man? Like, what?
Khal Drogo's like, "Excuse me, wife.
Yeah,
my men here tell me that you're against what we're doing here."
Mood of my life. We are at war, and you're telling me that my men can't rape these lamb women. And then she's like, "Yeah, no, I did do that, actually."
No, yeah, see, I've claimed many daughters this day. Yep. They are mine now.
And if you want to mount them, go ahead and marry them. How about that one for you?
And I love the way Khal Drogo, like, this is a sign that Khal Drogo is, like, down for her. Yeah. The way that he's like, "Fair, okay, yeah, go find other women to fuck."
He's proud of her, too. He's like, "Damn." And, he kind of...
You see my crazy little white girl right here? Like...
It could be a twisted view because he's like, "That's my son inside of her." It's like, it could be like that he just sees that that's what's doing it to her, or whether it's both, whether it's like, "Damn, I love you and my son." Like, oh my God, it's just so bad. Yeah.
He thinks he is fully of the mind that his son is filling her with fire and making her aggressive. And he's like, yeah, you see that shit? See this crazy little white girl? It's my boo right there. And one of the Dothraki is like, all right, that's enough. A cow doesn't listen to a foreign whore. Let's do this shit. I challenge thee. And Khal Drogo's like, bet that. Let's do it. He stands up. He starts monologuing, absolutely pimp, while he kills this motherfucker.
Into the blade. Gets like stabbed, and then he's like, just kind of reads into it, and then walks forward and pushes the dude back.
I mean, he
like
kills himself here without knowing it.
The line that he says too, like he's like, Khal Drogo's he's spitting. He's like, they will feed off of your intestines, blah 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 blah. And then the dude, cowers back. He's like, you'll have to kill me first. And then Khal just goes, I already have. And then slices his throat, pulls out,
and then rips his tongue out.
Yeah, pulls his tongue through his throat, throws it in the pile with the other goat and like other body parts, whatever, over there, and then just sits back down on his throne. And then,
dude, and like, I picked Jason Momoa for my performance this week because this was fucking nuts. Like, the part where he grabs the knives from his fucking sides and like holds them straight out, I was like, I kind of want to fuck this man. Dude, I was like, this was so hot.
Dude, yeah, and then he's dodging all the swings. He's weaponless. He has no weapon at all, and he's just like, you're like, okay, this is the call. Like, this is the greatest warrior that they got, like, and he shows it. And then he sits back down, like, blood all over him, just badass. Daenerys comes over, like, oh my god, you are hurt. And he goes, it's a scratch. That's his first line. It's a scratch. And then, like, one of his, like, other captain guy, like, looks at him, he's like, this is the scratch of a fly, literally. And then, like, they all like, yeah, that's right.
Like, they're like, yeah, this guy's this is our Khal. I don't know why we doubted it. It's like they all need to be reminded every once in a while that this man's the biggest badass alive. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's the Khal. I remember now. And the way that she's like, let me get one. Is anybody here a healer? And Miri Mazdur, who murders Khal Drogo, is there present.
Oh my! She does actually put like a spell on him, like a witch's curse. Actually, the dude was right. Like, the dude was actually right. She calls him a witch and like spits at her feet, like whenever she comes up, and like that dude was actually right.
No, the dude was 1,000% right.
Oh, damn! I forgot. Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah, like, because great idea, Danny. I'm sorry, but the people who you've just murdered entire village, I think the healer might not be 100% on the side of the people who did that.
Maybe a valuable lesson that Danny learns here.
Yes, it is. It is, to be sure.
Maybe that's why she goes to just burning them all. At the actually, is like, well,
safe.
This is the safest option.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know, but yeah, they're the Blood Rider is insistent that this woman is a witch. And she's like, she's not a witch. Get over here and help my mans. And then she's a witch. And that brings us to the end of that storyline. But we top off the episode in King's Landing, where Lannister soldiers are completing their purge of Starks. Literally just going around killing every single one of them. Yeah. This was the first time I was like, okay, Septa Mordane, you know what? You kind of a real one. I didn't even realize it. I was kind of a hater earlier on in the season about the Septa who helps out Sansa and Arya and like teaches them stuff.
The
one who has the hat that looks like Olenna. Yeah. Yeah, she
suspicious of her at first?
I wasn't suspicious of her. I was just kind of a hater. Because she annoyed the shit out of me for like a couple episodes. I was just like, man, she's just too caught up in like the old ways, the old way of things, and like she's bothersome. But whenever they hear the fighting and she's like, Sansa, go to your room, and she walks straight into it. She's like, you know what? This is it for me. But I kept Sansa safe, and that's cool. I was like, okay, you know what? I didn't give you enough credit. I'll leave my
I didn't
words
have
here.
that impression of her at first because she was like, Sansa was just being a dick to her. Oh, actually, I don't care. Like, literally, like, she was like, where were you from? You know, and then she goes into the story. It's like,
Oh, wait.
I realized.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like, oh my, shut the fuck up, Sansa. Is like, honestly, what I get. And, like, I just felt bad for
Yeah.
What is the Mordain? What's
Septim Mordain.
Septim Mordain, yeah. I don't know, I felt bad for her more than anything. So
Yeah,
here
right.
was kind of like her badass moment. Was like,
yeah, she really owns this shit. She really does. But when they are confronted by Sandor Clegane, Septim Mordain tells Sansa to go ahead and run and lock herself in the room while she stays to confront them. However, Sandor later on finds Sansa and takes her into custody. More Lannister guardsmen in the meantime, led by Sir Meryn Trant, which I don't know that I've ever really realized that Sir Meryn Trant is the one who kills Syrio. This is the man Arya stabs in the eyes, and later on in the show when she's in the brothel selling oysters, clams, and cockles, she stabs him in the eyes. He's on her list, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's my time to fucking strike." I didn't realize he did this.
That's awesome. Yeah,
but
because at the end they don't necessarily show that he's dead. You know, you leave with the cliffhanger, like he could be alive. But it's like, nah, man. Like that's.
I mean, it's probably dead. I like the idea that he might be the faceless man, though. Like that's one of my favorite theories. That he could be the faceless man that trains Arya later on. But Meryn Trant makes it out of this, which indicates to me that the guy he was facing did not.
But the faceless men have. Dude could have made it out and still. I don't know. I feel they got so much more going on over there, where it's like that dude could appear dead. I don't know.
Right.
One body that they have, you know, like is the faceless man just one actual dude or entity or?
Well, no, it's an organization of faceless men.
Yes, but like the one that we know that like follows.
I'm thinking like I like the theory that Jaqen Hagar, who we meet later on, is Syrio Forel.
I like that because that makes perfect sense. Like sees Arya as like a perfect mentor. You know, like sees her like, okay, like this is like you actually trained well. You have the reasons to fight as well. You know, like you have everything, the reasons to like. It would make sense how he linked back up with her eventually.
Because he's a member of the Lannister army.
Do you think that's a coincidence that they meet up?
No, yeah, there's something there. There's something there. I think we ought to keep an eye on it. I like the theory.
Is the one that kills the Night King, and whether it's part, you know, the faceless god, you know,
many-faced god,
whether that's part of it or some shit, you know, because Arya is huge, like very huge. You don't have Arya, the Night King may not go down. I don't know. You may not have the coolest little knife drop tactic, little cutting.
No, yeah, you never know, but they pull on up. They're like, Lord Eddard Stark is summoning you, and Sirio's like, hold the fucking phone, Arya. Don't you go with him? Why on earth would he send Lannister men? That doesn't make any bit of sense. And she's like, oh yeah, that's off-putting.
Is true.
And when they try to force the issue, Syrio bitches these dudes. This is far and away the coolest action sequence we've gotten so far in this show, and I don't have any doubt.
Yeah, no, this Syrio.
This is what I have. This is what I have as my favorite scene right now.
With a wooden sword against dudes in armor.
The way he just like bats the sword and then smacks him on the head with it, and is like,
he's playing with them. He's playing with them. Like, and then whenever it's like, all right. Now we 1v1. Now the real battle begins when I don't have a sword anymore. Like you actually chopped it in half. Now he's like, now it gets interesting. You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude's just badass.
Well, we do kind of hear a clang when she runs away, which I think is interesting.
I was listening to the sounds, and I don't know. It isn't clear.
They don't make it clear whether he lives or dies here.
You hear a sword hit the floor. And Arya look back. You hear a metal sword hit the floor. Like, and then a dude scream.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
Swords ringing, men screaming is what the closed captioning says. Men screaming.
Uh-oh. No, I'm going headcanon because there's no reason for this to ever get confirmed. Headcanon Sirio Farrell is Jacques and Hagar. And they're the same guy.
Yeah. Because the leader of the land, I don't know, whatever guy's leading them right now. He does, yeah. I guess him making it out is interesting. Whether he just got like, maybe like, he killed every other guy in there, you know, and then he just like looked at him, gave him one last line of like, you'll never see me again because I'll literally change my face. See you fucking later. Have fun. I'll let Arya kill you.
Yeah, and then maybe his mission was like he goes undercover as a Lannister soldier to take out the Lannister army afterwards. Oh man.
Wait, were those Lannister guards in the armor that Jack and Hagar is in? Or is that the Lannister? No, that's like Tywin's like Lannister. No, because they were in Kingsguard. What armor were they in? No, dude, that's the same armor.
Yeah, no,
Dude,
like they're Lannisters.
That's where he got his armor from.
That'd be pretty pimp. Like that's the thing is that like of all the Game of Thrones theories that are like really outlandish, that's one that like is not like oh my god that's ridiculous. You know, like it's reasonable. It's not beyond a shadow of a doubt or anything, but it's good. But yeah, he tells Arya to run as he faces down Trant, noting that for himself, the first sword of Braavos does not run. What do we say to the god of death? Not today. And she runs, which is a perfect parallel to what she does later on in season 8 when the Red Woman asks her, what do we say to the god of death? And she says, not today, and then runs away. Just immaculate storytelling. Arya is going to be a fucking great arc to watch over the course of this. But she runs to the stables where the men waiting with their baggage were supposed to be to take them to the ship for Winterfell. And the men are dead, but she finds her sword, needle, in the bottom of the trunk. And Arya then starts to leave the stables. And that's when a stable boy tries to grab her. The queen will give me a good reward for this one. Arya turns around, and I don't think she meant to, but it just she turns around with the sword in hand. It's not a toy, and accidentally stabs this man, or this boy, straight through the stomach, and kills him. And she's like, okay, yep, I'm running away. That's it for me.
I don't know, she kind of looks at it like, oh, I really didn't know, like, I've been practicing with wooden swords this whole time, and, like, I really didn't fully understand the danger of my sword, maybe. Like, I think, because she kind of, like, pulls it out, like, oh, wait. Oh,
yeah, she's
shit,
like,
I actually just killed this dude.
I think what kind of scares her is how easy it was. Like, she just kind of did it and was like, oh, wow, yeah, this isn't a toy, huh? Jon and Ned were right.
Damn. That's I like that. It's like showing her the true power of like what, you know, like wooden swords is one thing. She got all the technique and stuff down, but now that she has like the actual power to do it, and it's seen like it's like butter. You know, it was like it was effortless. Like just a swoop. Like for her, that's like a perfect like weapon.
Yeah, that's a perfect weapon for her. It's 100%. But Varys next up visits Ned down in his cell in the dungeons, and he is incredulous that Ned warned Cersei what he was going to do. He was like, now what possessed you to think that was a good idea? And Ned's like, it was the mercy. Like I offered her mercy and she didn't take it. Robert would have killed them if he'd known the truth. And Varys is like, your mercy is what killed the king. And Varys tells him that Catelyn no longer holds Tyrion, so you're fucked. And Ned's like, well, if that's the case, slit my throat. Be done with it. I'm done. I'm dead. I am as good as dead.
Not today, my lord, he says. Varys, in response, literally, not today. Right after we hear what, like, and I was like, oh, dude, that's like, That's so on purpose. Like,
not today, my lord. And then another candidate for my favorite line was right here when Ned asks him, "Who do you truly serve?" And Varys goes, "The realm, my lord. Someone must."
oh, dude. Yeah.
Like Varys is a real one.
Yeah,
Like
and Ned, I loved how Ned was like, "You stood there while my men were getting slaughtered and did nothing." He's like, "And I would again." He's like,
I would do that shit again, bro. What do you want me to do,
yeah.
Ned?
He's
Are
like,
you
I
a
was
fucking
unarmed.
dummy?
Yeah, he's like, "What the fuck was I gonna do?"
Like I like that Varys is like, he has all the honor that Ned has and common sense to go with it. Like, if Ned sees all that going on, yeah, he goes ahead and tries to fight them. And you know what he does? He dies. He's outnumbered. Like, that's the things honor will lead you to do will get you fucking killed sometimes. And Varys recognizes that and knows what he needs to do. The realm, my lord. Someone must.
He's he is just such a cool character.
Love that guy. But and in fact, I think I might change my line to that because, spread the love a little bit. I already got Rob as my favorite character, and that line is part of the reason. But Ned asking him who he truly serves, and him responding, "The realm, my lord. Someone must." I think it's going to be it, just because I think it's just a really great trajectory for who Varys is the entire show. He literally never stops looking out for the people. He never once turns his sights to the throne or anything. He's like, he always does what he thinks is best for the people. But next up,
Varys spelled
Varys.
That's right. A. That the E just wasn't looking right. I had an E. Okay, that's good. I might switch.
If it was an E, he might be a Targaryen.
Ah, that is true. That would be an interesting line there. But I either have my line as either one that's coming up that hasn't been said yet, or I might switch it to the Rob line.
Yeah.
If I'll have to debate when the line comes up though. It's coming up here soon though.
But next up, Cersei and the remainder of the small council, comprising of Grand Maester Pycelle, Varys, and Littlefinger, summoned Sansa to inform her that her father has been arrested for treason. And Sansa's like, "No, it isn't possible. He wouldn't do that. He's a good man. He's good." And they they manipulate Sansa into writing a letter to her brother Robb, asking him to bend the knee peacefully to Joffrey. They add that Ned's fate may depend on what his son and the Northern Lords do. And Sansa's like, "Okay, I'll do it. Stupid girl with stupid things and stupid." My favorite thing Sansa does is say stupid.
That is a good. That is. I don't know. She does say it very distinctively. You're right. Yeah. Stupid. It's like STEWPID. Stupid.
I'd also throw in like a little SH at the beginning.
Ooh, yeah.
Stupid.
I like that.
Stupid.
Okay. Oh, Sansa.
No, he was good. He's good.
She gets better.
Oh no, I love me some Sansa, man. She's a young girl being manipulated throughout season 1. That's like literally all she is, and I think she catches a lot of shit for that. But like being a 13 or 14-year-old girl, 13 or 14-year-old child in general,
which is now the queen. Out of nowhere, you went from living in Winterfell to being the queen with your father being in jail and your sister you have no idea where your sister is. Your other bastard brother is at the wall. Your other brother's a cripple, and your other one is going off to fight war. Oh fuck! Like holy shit!
Yep.
She has no one. She has no one.
But yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. That is it this episode where Cersei's like, well, she is the daughter, like, Pycelle's like, the daughter of a traitor is not fit to be the queen of the realm.
Yes, I think it comes up, like, at the end of the episode, whenever she's, like, in the throne room. She walks into the throne room, and then they confront her, basically. Gotcha. She like, begs. She's like, have mercy for my father.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. All right. But later on, King Joffrey is holding court in the Red Keep, where Janos Slynt, commander of the City Watch, is made Lord of Harrenhal as a reward for his loyal service. I cannot for the life of me remember how this guy ends up at the wall. And I don't want to look it up or anything. I want to find out organically because there's not a lot of stuff in this show that I don't remember.
Yeah.
And the fact that this dude's getting Lord of Harrenhal, I'm like, how the fuck does he end up at the wall? But
whenever
Cersei,
Sansa walks into this room, it opens with Sansa walking into the throne room, and it focuses on some dude that looks at stares at Sansa, dressed in green, like Hightower green. And I don't know, it looked like the camera really focuses on him for some reason. If you have the episode, episode open, it's like 52:30 seconds for I don't know why, but it's like
30 seconds.
It's very Hightower green. It's right after Varys talks to Ned, and he leaves. And then Sansa's walking in, and right at 52:29, 52:30. It's like this dude just gets in front of Sansa, stares at her, and then lets her by. And then I don't know, just a very strange. I think it might just be the green. I think is all it is. Is the high tower. It's a high tower that's wearing green, signifying that war has started.
Let me.
I think was
I'm
the
taking
point of
a
it.
look now.
But it is. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. I don't know.
Weird. He looks like my high school physics teacher, almost exactly. It's really weird. Sometimes I really he'd be far too young, at this time for this to actually be him. But it's uncanny how much it looks like him. It's very strange. And then on top of it, it's the green high tower. It's
right.
They focused on him, so I don't know. It was just really weird.
They key in on it a little bit, but man, I don't know. That's interesting. But here, Cersei then dismisses Sir Barristan Selmy, tells him, you're a good man. You've served well. Go ahead and live out your days in comfort. You're done being head of the King's Guard. It's time for an honorable retirement. And Selmy's like, that's not how this works. I serve until I die. That's my oath. That is what I intend to do. And Joffrey says, you're too old. You weren't able to protect Robert, were you? And Selmy is like, you know what? Fuck you. And she's like, yep, the Lord Commander will now be Jaime Lannister. And he's just like, the man who put his sword in the king's back? This doesn't make any sense. And Varys announces that Selmy is to be given a castle and land in recognition of his years of service. And the knight is like, so a hall to die in and men to bury me. He removes his armor, throws his sword at Joffrey's feet, and stating that he could kill all 5 of the other Kingsguard present with ease.
Yes, there is my line. If it is not the Rob line, it would be, even now I could cut through the 5 of you like carving a cake. Here, boy, melt it down and add it to the others. And he just walks out. And I'm like, as going out, you could have just accepted your castle and gone with it. But he says I am a knight. I will die a knight. And then he says that. And it's just
and he does. That's what's really cool about Barristan Selmy's arc over the course of the show too, is that he dies a knight. He dies protecting his queen from the Sons of the Harpy, and he does cut through 30 dudes like cake versus just him.
He is
dude. It's like him and Grey Worm versus 30 dudes, and that's it.
I'm a knight. I will die. Yeah, that's my line.
No, that's so fucking hard. It's so hard.
I'm a knight. I will die a knight. Even now, I could cut through the 5 of you like carving a cake. And he does prove it. So, dude has receipts. Even the war stories that he was telling with Jaime, even Jaime was like, dude, yeah, that move you did, or that
you're one of the goats.
Yeah, holy shit, dude. I look up
being
to you.
like, I'm glad we didn't face each other in the war. My children would be without a father. My wife would be without a husband. I'd be dead.
Damn. Yeah, this dude. How old is he? He has to be 60.
60s at least,
and still with it.
That man's a badass. I love Barristan Selmy. But Sansa then approaches the king, goes to her knees and begs for her father's life, claiming that the medicine he was taking for his injured leg was responsible for his treasonous talk. You know, he was given milk of the poppy by Maester Pycelle. Please forgive him. And Joffrey's like, your sweet words have moved me, and I will spare Ned if he bends the knee and acknowledges me as king. And Cersei's like, you little fucking dick. You little dumbass. You're so dumb. Like, I love the way that, like, Cersei's just like, God, you suck at this. But, you know, Joffrey's little hubris is like, come on now. What really sucks is that he does.
Yep.
He acknowledges him as the king, bends the knee, and Joffrey cuts his head off anyway.
It's why the show, they really, like, this. It's like, I thought Ned was one of the safest characters in the show. You know?
He was the main character in season 1. I was like, he's safe. He is safe.
Like, I'm like, okay, this dude's going to be in multiple seasons of the show. I'm like, just without a doubt. Like, I'm going into the show, like, season 5, whatever. So I'm already going into it knowing that there's like 5 seasons out. So I'm like, oh yeah, Sean Bean, like Ned, like main character. Yeah, dude's gonna be in it for a long time.
Boop, dead.
That's why this show is unlike it. They can do that because they have so many storylines and they have so many big characters. They can do that. And whether it is George R. Martin spinning a wheel, you know, whether it's him just spinning a wheel or his turtle going to the left of the cage so Ned dies instead of, you know, whatever. Like, literally, some of the decisions that George R. Martin made in the books were based on his turtles in their little aquarium tank thing or whatever.
Dude's nuts. He's crazy with it. But that did bring us to the end of episode 8, The Pointy End. Are we ready to give this bad boy a rating?
Oh, yeah. I think I just didn't explicitly mention, but my favorite scene was Khal Drogo defending Daenerys and ripping out that dude's tongue. I didn't give him the performance nod, which you gave him, which I felt like he deserved. It was I gave him the favorite scene because I wanted Tyrion to get something of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm ready to rate it now, though.
Good shit. Then let us begin. As far as enjoyment is concerned, where are we at?
This one's good because there is good action. We have like the Syrio fight, which was badass. We have freaking Khal Drogo in there too, just absolutely destroying that dude. And then we have like the politics side of this episode, which I think is really strong. Daenerys claiming her stake as Khaleesi and like really doing what she wants to do. And then you have like, you know, you like little mentions of Varys, you know, going down to see Ned. You have like just things that are happening and like so many things are happening. War is a brewing. Obviously the whole Robb storyline, like holy shit, this episode is just packed. I don't know. I think I'm like, this might be like 9.5, 9. Like, this is high for me. I really like it.
I'm with you. I think I was hovering around a 9.25 to a 9.5. Okay. I'm comfortable going 9.5. It was a really strong one. The action was epic, like you were saying. The actual story progression was super badass. We're heading to war now. Robb is coming into his own. Daenerys is coming into her own. Jon tried to kill Alistair Thorne, and all that stuff's going on at the wall. It's a good one. It's a really good one.
I mean, that only speaks to the genre here. Like,
yeah, that's a 10. It's another 10.
Holy mother! Like, and we got a lot more of like the fantasy side with this one too, with the wall. Like, we get like someone coming back to life, and then them all being like scared out of their minds watching that body being burned. You know, like they're standing over those bodies, like, and then the soundtrack. It's just like mysterious, like sound of, you know, creepy, eerie. This episode had like everything that you would want out of a Game of Thrones episode.
I will say critically, this is probably the weakest category in our rating.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin, he's a good like writer and he had good lines and stuff like that. But as for like an episode of television, I don't think that's where he.
It was really a branch. Like it was.
Yeah.
between episode 7 and 9, this is the middle part of that, and it's like there's nothing that really completes itself in this episode. It is well written. I don't think it stands out visually as well as Daniel Minahan's previous episodes have. 6 was peak for me as far as visuals in Game of Thrones so far. 7, it took a step down, and this took another step down for me. I think I'm around an 8.75.
Okay, so yeah, still better than the first 4 episodes, but not quite the last 3.
Yeah.
Which I think is very fair. This is like, it still found its style in Game of Thrones, but it just wasn't quite the everything that like the last 4 episodes were.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we still get better. Like, we get better from here, which is nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I think 8.75 is good there, which brings it out to a 9.42. Which puts it, let's see.
That's second.
That's second. Yeah. That's second place. So that's pretty good.
It's a pretty good episode.
It's a pretty good episode. See what IMDb has to say about it. If maybe you want to go the Rotten Tomatoes route.
Yeah, here, I'll get it.
I believe it was an 8.9 this episode, if I remember correctly, but I'll go and make sure. But I think it was the weakest of like the last couple episodes of the season. Yeah, 8.9.
Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. This is a really good one.
Yeah. I guess that's still a 9 out of 10. So we're actually, IMDb is more nice than we are critically, technically. So
yeah, this got a 95% on the tomato meter, and we gave it a 94. So
there we go. So relatively on point there. I think we're even harsher critically than maybe we should put on, because IMDb is usually pretty harsh. But people also elevate Game of Thrones really high, just
to be sure.
But I guess it does deserve it. But yeah, second episode so far. I think it's gonna get top
2. I think it just might. We only got 2 episodes left in this series, in this season of Winter is Blooming, and I cannot wait to wrap season 1 up and keep going with this show. It's been so much fun. But with that, if you would, head to patreon.com/CoRoBloom, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of comic book pull lists. We just did a comic Bloomiverse episode last week that, thank goodness, I put out when I did, because it became aged very quickly. As a couple days after we recorded it, a lot of the stuff we were pondering became confirmed.
Yeah,
but,
it was fun at the time. You know, we got
it out in time. The patrons, they got it in time. Yeah, so head over there for $3 a month. You can support the podcast, and it's a huge help. We appreciate it greatly. If you would, head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review for your boys. That helps the podcast like crazy when it comes to like search metrics. Everything you look up on podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, is based off how many ratings it has. That's how high up that's how everything is ranked. Like, top result is the thing with the most ratings. So come through and rate the podcast for us. That'd be huge. Even if it's not going to be 5 stars, the interaction is helpful. But we'd prefer you didn't go much lower than 4.
Nice to us.
Please. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Well, thank you for having me. It was always a pleasure.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Happy Hanukkah to all our Jewish listeners. So happy holiday for you guys. Should be a good holiday this season. Remember, peace, love, and bloom. And I serve the realm, my lord. Someone must.